In one of the previous videos, we learned a bunch of theorems about relationships between angles when we have parallel lines. Well, as it turns out, it's actually biconditional. So we can go the opposite direction as well. If we find that the same side interior angles are supplementary, then we know that the two lines are parallel. Same thing with the congruent angles here. So to answer this question, which lines are parallel, we're looking for some of these relationships, and all of these relationships have to do with angles. Also keep in mind, this isn't about what is true, it's about what we can prove. So it could be that we have multiple sets of parallel lines here, but we're only looking for what we can prove is definitely true. So let's go ahead and start with the easy part. If we're going to have to use an angle. So let's pick an angle. Let's pick that angle there. Well, for that angle to exist, I need both this line here, and I also need this line here, and I'm going to extend it out. The only other angle that they give me information about is this angle here. And so I'm going to go ahead, and I already have one of the lines that we need to form it, which is this line here. I also need this line. And I'm going to ignore every other line except the ones that I have highlighted. And we see that we have this relationship here where the two angles are congruent. So if we know that, now we just have to determine what relationship they have. And so if these are going to be potentially our two parallel lines, which we haven't proven yet, but we'll prove it in a second, well, then this has to be our transversal. So what relationship do we have here? Well, they're on the same side of the transversal, but then one's on the exterior of the two parallel or potentially parallel lines, and the other one's on the interior. Well, that doesn't appear to be any of these, except for what does corresponding mean again? Oh, well, I remember that's the one that's kind of weird. It's the only one that's not only on the interior or only on the exterior. So these are in fact corresponding angles, and I know that they are congruent. And if I look up here, yep, that's one of my conditions. If the corresponding angles are congruent, then I know that the two lines are parallel. So we can say, therefore, and I'll just label these L and M. Therefore, L is parallel to M, and that is by the converse, meaning we're going in the reverse direction. We're starting with that congruency and going to the parallel lines, as opposed to starting with the parallel lines and going backwards, the converse of the corresponding angles theorem. And that's it. Again, you can see how these strategies that I'm using of highlighting and just focusing on a piece of the picture are going to keep popping up. So it's something I would recommend trying, and check out my later videos for more examples.